friends. So I'm back outside this afternoon gonna read some more of Junie B. Jones, and our story, the next chapter is chapter 7. It's called Jobs and Jobs. So let's find out what happened with Junie B. When I got off the bus, I zoomed to room 9. That's because I wanted job day to start very quick. Only first we had to take attendance, and then we had to say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Except I don't know that story. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Then finally, Mrs. clapped her hands really loud. And guess what? Job day started, that's what. Boys and girls. You all look wonderful in your outfits, Mrs. said. I can't wait to learn what you want to be when you grow up. Who would like to go first? I would, I yelled out. Only my best friend, Lucille, raised her hand very polite, and she got to go first. Lucille looked the most beautifulest I've ever seen her. She was wearing a very fancy dress that her Nana had bought for her. It was the color of pink velvet, and she also had on shiny pink shoes and socks with bows and laces on them. Lucille's Nana is loaded, I think. Lucille went to the front of the room. She reached into a little bag and pulled out a sparkling crown with jewels on it. Then all of room 9 went, ooh, except for not the boys. When I grow up, I'm going to marry a prince, she said, and I'll be a princess, and my name will be Princess Lucille. And then she put the sparkling crown on her head, and she looked like a fairy tale guy. Mrs. smiled. That's a lovely thought, Lucille, she said. I know, said Lucille. My Nana says that if you marry a prince, you're set for life. After that, Lucille said her dress costed $85, and her shoes costed $45, and her lacy socks costed $6.50 plus tax. Then Mrs. told Lucille to sit down. Ricardo went next. He was wearing a round yellow hat. It was the kind of hat that you can bang on. This is called a hard hat, he said. You have to wear it when you're building tall buildings, or else somebody might drop a hammer from way up high, and it could hit you on the head. Mrs. smiled. So you're interested in construction, right, Ricardo? She asked. But Ricardo just kept talking on about stuff that could happen and could fall on your head, like a paint can, electric drill, and a lunchbox. Then Mrs. said, sit down, to him too. That's when William raised his hand, only he was being very bashful and he couldn't go to the front of the room. You don't have to be nervous, William, said Mrs. Just tell us what you want to be when you grow up. William covered his face with his hands. Super William, he said very quiet. Then he got out of his seat and he jumped way high in the air, only his cape got tangled up in his chair and he crashed into the table. After that, Super William got very sniffling, and Mrs. said we would get back to him later. Then lots of other kids talked about their jobs. Like a boy named Clifton is going to be a rich and famous astronaut, and a girl named Lily is going to be a rich and famous movie star, and also she wants to direct. And a boy named Ham is going to be a rich and famous boss of a big company, and he taught us a new word that said, you're fired. And here's the bestest one of all, because a boy named Jamal Hall is going to be the rich and famous president of the whole United States. Cool, said Ricardo. Then the other boys said cool, too. I did a secret smile. Yeah, only not as cool as my job, I thought to myself. Then I raised my hand very polite, and Mrs. called my name. Oh boy, I shouted, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, because mine is even better than the President of the United States. I zoomed speedy quick to the front of the room. Then my excitement wouldn't stay inside me anymore. A janitor! I'm gonna be a janitor! I hollered out. After that, I jingled my jangly keys and I waved my paintbrush in the air and I clapped and I clapped. Only too bad for me, because nobody clapped back. And here's the even worser part. Room 9 started laughing at me. It was the mean kind of laugh. She wants to be a janitor, they yelled. And then they pointed at my brown pants and they called me the name of silly. And I don't know what to do because I felt very crumbling inside. Poor Junie B was not feeling very good about this right now, was she? And so I kept on standing there, and my eyes got a little bit of wet in them, and my nose started running very much. And that's how come I covered up my face. That's not having courtesy for me, I said real soft. Only just then, Mrs. clapped her angry hands together, and she scolded Room 9 a real lot. Junie B is right, she said. Being a janitor is a very important job. You have to be hardworking and reliable and very, very trustworthy. I peeked through my fingers at her. Yeah, and don't forget the part about where you have to save people from danger, I said. Then that Jim, who I don't like, laughed right out loud. Janitors don't have to save people from danger, you goony bird, he said. I stomped my foot at him. Yes, they do. They do too. Because one time I was eating a dangerous lifesaver and janitor made me spit it out, and he also brought his flashlight to Room 9 and he saved William from the dangerous dental floss. Then I held out my jingling keys. And see these things? Keys are what janitors use to unlock the bathroom door with, or else we wouldn't even be able to go to the toilet. Then I showed him my paintbrush. And janitors paint litter cans too. And painting is the funnest thing I love. Then Jim did a mean smile. Well, too bad for you, but you're a girl. And janitors have to be boys, so there. I run to his table. No, they don't, Jim, I said. Girls can be anything boys can be. Right, Mrs. Wright? Right? Because I saw that on Sesame Street. And also on Oprah. Mrs. did a smile. Then my bestest friend Grace started to clap. And guess what? All the other girls in Room 9 clapped too. Chapter 9, Gus Valoni. Today, janitor came to Room 9 for show and tell. And it was the funnest day I ever saw. That's because he brought with him his very big toolbox. And we played a game called Name That Tool. And guess what? I knew the saw and the hammer and the metric socket set with the adjustable rackets. Then the janitor showed us his stuff. And Charlotte got to shine his giant flashlight, and my bestest friend Grace got to push the big broom. And Lucky Duck Lucille got to clean the chalkboard with his squishy sponge. Except for then a little bit of trouble happened because I wanted the mop, only that silly head Jim wouldn't let go of it, and so I had to pinch his arm. And after that, the mop got removed from us. Removed is the school word for snatched right out of our hands. After that, janitor sat in a chair, and Room 9 sat all around him. Then he told us all about his job, and guess what? He's been a janitor for 14 years. And he was born in a different country from ours. And his name is Gus Valoni. Hey, I love that name of Gus Valoni, I hollered, because Valoni is my very favorite kind of sandwich. Then I smiled very proud. And guess what else? I said to Room 9. Me and janitor are bestest friends, and sometimes he calls me the nickname Sis. Then janitor winked at me. And so I winked back, except for both of my eyes kept on shutting, and so I had to hold one up with my finger. I really liked that Gus Valoni, I whispered to my best friend Lucille. Only that silly girl named Lily heard what I said, and she started singing, Junie B's got a boyfriend, Junie B's got a boyfriend. And so that's how come I felt very embarrassed. Me and my big mouth, I said. Then Mrs. laughed, and janitor laughed, and everybody else laughed too. And after that, janitor had to go back to work. And so Mrs. shook his hand, and then Room 9 clapped and clapped for him, and janitor smiled, and his jingly keys jangled all the way out the door. The end. So boys and girls, could Junie be a janitor if she wanted to? Absolutely. We can be anything we want to be, can't we? Absolutely. I love that Gus Valoni came and visited her class. We just finished that Junie B. The next one is called Junie B. Jones and the Sneaky Peeky Spying. So we'll start that later. Bye.